Greetings, welcome, bienvenidos, hola, aloha, ni hao, namaste, konnichiwa, bonjour, buongiorno, sawadee karup, guten tag, jiao, viva cat bang, half a day, jai janendra, salam, shalom, peace now, go vegan, peace how, go vegan, from the Russia-phobic new New right left coast of the genetically mutated McNugget pharmaceutical kill, vivisection prison, kilitary industrial core poor nation in the cheese covered post constitutional bankster bankrupt corruptocracy democracy criminocracy unchallenged by mediocrity foodborne in the NSA, NRA, CIA, USA, home of Uncle Salmonella, where they sure do eat a lot of dead animal body parts, and the Wall Street-backed corporate diet of death, disease, and destruction is shoved down your throat. This is Go Vegan Radio with Bob Linden, and I am the environmentalist. I've just been looking around at some of the websites of the major environmental groups: 350.org, Sierra Club, Greenpeace. So yeah, I'm definitely the anti-environmentalist. I don't know, because your typical Sierra Club type environmentalist, or 350.org, or Greenpeace environmentalist, I think, is anti-environment. Um, we have all the Earth Day activities happening this month, and the march on the 29th in Washington, D.C., the People's Climate March 2017. And I've sent around a flyer. I've posted it on Facebook, Go Vegan Radio, and Bob Linden, and on Twitter at Go Vegan Radio. So there's a PDF of the flyer. April is Go Vegan to Stop Climate Change Month. So occasionally, in front of the mirror, just to entertain myself, I do what I did as a child. I try to do JFK imitations. Everybody my age was doing a JFK imitation in his or her youth, just as we were, pretending we were the Beatles and growing our hair over our eyebrows for the first time. So, and I just wonder if JFK were here today, what would he be saying but something like, "Ask not what your country can do for climate change. Ask what you can do for climate change." And the answer will be go vegan. I have no idea how saying go vegan in a New England accent would be, but that was my best New England accent there. It was, the ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Well, I say ask not what your country can do for climate change, because it's not going to do anything. Ask what you can do for climate change, because that's the only thing that will stop climate change. The answer is you have to go vegan. Now, I don't see that anywhere. I don't see anywhere on. I mean, this is, it's April. It's Earth Day month. It's Climate March month. And you look at 350.org and the Sierra Club and Greenpeace, I think we need to ask them a question. Each one of these organizations, we need to ask, what is the #1 cause of climate change? Because they don't seem to know. And you would think, as the leading environmental groups, that's something they might know, like animal agriculture. Animal agriculture is the #1 cause of climate change. I don't see that anywhere on any of these websites. I see nothing about going vegan on any of these websites. Let's see, what do we celebrate on these websites here? Move my laptop around. I'm sure I'm going to knock the microphone down. One of these days we will get ergonomically comfortable, but why should we be? When other people doing podcasts aren't comfortable, why should we be comfortable, right? So if I'm looking at 350.org, it's talking about the People's Climate March 2017. by the numbers. So what do we see? What are we celebrating here? Oh, by the numbers, the very first highlight on the People's Climate March 2017 page is the very first highlight is 1,254 miles. What is that celebrating here? It celebrates that, well, that's how far riders will travel on a bus from Wichita, Kansas to the People's Climate March. And that's the longest bus ride to the Climate March, apparently. The longest bus trip to get to the Climate March is from Wichita, Kansas. Isn't that exciting that people will be wasting the gas that it takes to go 1,254 miles on a march to nowhere? And that's look at the page there, 350.org. Isn't that exciting? We'll have to congratulate the people coming off the bus from Wichita in Washington, D.C. Congratulate them that they're on the bus that came the most miles to accomplish nothing. And perhaps people at the airport there, right? Ronald Reagan Airport, Dulles Airport. What do you have to do to, what kind of criminal do you have to have an airport named after you? So, okay, so there's that. All these people flying to Washington, D.C., wasting jet fuel as they waste jet fuel going to all these climate change conferences, Copenhagen, Paris, everywhere, where they accomplish nothing. Accomplish nothing. Let me scroll down this 350.org page here a little bit. And okay, so the next number after we celebrate the longest bus ride to the Climate March, oh, then the next, by the numbers, it says 3 days. 3 days. What does that mean? 3 days is how long a group of fishermen will be traveling by boat to protect their livelihoods and communities part of the climate. Whoa, look at this. So now fishermen are the second most important after the people taking the longest bus ride to the Climate March. 350.org celebrates fishermen. The oceans are completely depleted. There is no responsible fishing. And yet, here we are. It's like giving the climate seal of approval, the environmentalist seal of approval to fishermen, because they're going to take a 3-day boat ride to promote fishing at the Climate March. Well, isn't this a special Climate March? Huh? This is really quite amazing. We're celebrating the longest bus ride. Let's see, what else? Oh, it goes down. It talks about 2016, the highlights of 2016. Oh, look, 182 politicians participated in 2016. That got us pretty far down the road, right? 22 and growing. What's that? The number of blocks in the march. Whoa, we're celebrating that the march extended 22 blocks. Wow, that is so impressive. Are we talking about anything important here related to climate change? Apparently not yet. Let's see what else here. And then, 50 enormous circular banners. This is what 350.org celebrates as, is this climate activism? What's going on here? Fibbin Bill McKibben is turning out to be quite the showman, quite the environmental clown, I would say. So they celebrate 50 enormous circular banners. So I guess, using up that vinyl, the plastic, the oil for that is okay, as we protest against fossil fuels by wasting fossil fuels getting to the Climate March. And then what else is on this page? Celebrating 50 plus marching bands and choruses. So I guess we're going to defeat climate change by singing, and yeah, So this, of course, this climate movement makes absolutely no sense. What's the #1 cause of climate change? 350.org. Um, the number one cause of climate change is the lack of marching band music. I think that's the number two cause of climate change is we don't have enough circular banners. The number three cause of climate change, people aren't taking long enough bus trips with their circular banners, and the tuba carry, the tuba in the luggage compartment. And we're celebrating fishermen. So that's what the climate march has become, a celebration of fishermen. I look at EcoWatch here. It says global fish stocks depleted to alarming levels. This is from a few months ago, from EcoWatch. It says if we keep pulling fish out of our waterways at this rate, we're going to run out of fish. Well, it's actually the fish who are running out of fish. They're running out of their own lives, and we don't leave them alone, and we take them out of the water and eat them. They're full of heavy metals, mercury, fat, cholesterol. So not brain food. We're really not using our brains if we're eating fish. But okay, so the oceans are running out of fish. It says the Guardian has revealed that due to vast overfishing, nearly 90% of global fish stocks are either fully fished or overfished, based on a new analysis from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. There it is again, the FAO, who always actually, actually kind of sweetens it a little bit. So if this is what the FAO is saying, it's going to be even worse. The FAO is the organization which is influenced by the livestock industry. It is a part of the livestock industry. It's a member of an international alliance that wants to meet the demand, an increased demand for so-called livestock products by 70% by 2050. So this UN Food and Agriculture Organization has been a pro-animal agriculture organization for forever. It wrote Livestock's Long Shadow some years back, where it said, whoa, look out, animal agriculture is responsible for 18% of human-generated greenhouse gas emissions. So that was the FAO, which is influenced by the livestock industry, estimating 18%, which in itself is more than all transportation combined. That 18% represents more than all boats and trucks and cars and planes and all the people taking the bus to the climate march and flying there and the jet fuel and all of that. The FAO still came out with a report showing the leading role of animal agriculture. Then the livestock people were a little upset. It didn't reflect too well on them that their industry was, was being revealed that the industry is worse than the transportation industry. So the FAO came out with a later report saying, no, we didn't mean 18%, we mean 14%. We're not going to tell you why we're making this adjustment. Actually, they didn't really tell us why they came out with 18% in the first place, because that assessment, Livestock's Long Shadow, was analyzed by the world's top climate specialists at the World Bank, Robert Goodland and Jeff Anhang. And those climate specialists said, what's going on here? 18%? No. It's at least 51%. That's what the top climate specialists in the world say. Animal agriculture is responsible for at least 51% of all human-caused greenhouse gas emissions. So 51% represents what kind of number? Let's see. Well, going back to my Stuyvesant High School, Math and Science High School in New York City, I would say 51% has got to be higher than everything else combined. If they haven't changed, the number system around since I was in high school, anything's possible. So So there you have it. And Goodland and Anhang looked at the FAO report, and they saw how they misrepresented numbers, they underestimated certain things, they omitted certain things, they used numbers from 1962. It's just it was horrible. So it's discredited. But again, the FAO is a pro livestock organization, and here it is coming out saying the oceans are depleted. So it's probably even worse than what it's saying here. It says, meanwhile, the organization, and this is from EcoWatch, continuing. Meanwhile, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development forecasted 17% rise in fish production by what? By 2025. How will that be? How will that be? It says the FAO report, the State of World Fisheries and Aquaculture 2016, and I bet if climate specialists at the World Bank looked at this report, they'd say, whoa, it's worse than this. But just taking it as what this report says from the FAO, it says in its report, demonstrates that global fish consumption per capita has reached record high levels due to aquaculture and firm demand, with the average person now eating roughly 44 pounds of fish per year compared to only 22 pounds in the 1960s. And that represents 44 pounds more than I consume in a year because I am vegan. I am not depleting the oceans by eating 44 pounds or 1 pound, actually. It says here in EcoWatch, additionally, the report found that people are now consuming more farmed fish than wild-caught fish for the first time. Those farms are horribly polluting, pathogen-ridden, and the fish farms. What are the fish? What are the fish eating? They're eating other fish. So other fish have to be killed to feed the fish in the fish farms. So efficient, aren't we, in feeding ourselves? Okay, it says, despite this, the UN agency warns that fish from natural marine resources are still being overharvested at biologically unsustainable levels. Global marine fish stocks have not improved overall, despite notable progress in some areas, the report says. For instance, in the Mediterranean and Black Sea, 59% of assessed stocks are fished at biologically unsustainable levels, a situation that the report authors described as alarming. Alarming. Fishing is alarming to the environment, yet fishermen are featured at the 2017 climate march. They're being applauded they're being cheered by 350.org. Look, it's the fishermen. They rowed their boats for 3 days to get here. Yay, fishermen! Go. We need to help them go fish. We go fish. You know what? They need to play the card game, Go Fish, and stop fishing. And throw a little seaweed in with the tofu, and boom, you're satisfied. There's fish. Or doesn't Gardein? Gardein has some fish tacos or vegan fish. If you have the urge for fish without just completely decimating the oceans, which is, that's where the oceans are right now. The oceans are decimated. What does it say here? The Guardian noted that aquaculture, which is poised to overtake wild-caught fish as the source of most fish consumption in 2021, is a major industry that benefits trade, employment, and diets in the developing world. Can you believe this? This is horrible. So there's a biased account from EcoWatch, and fish is not healthy. Fish is not healthy, and fish oil. We've depleted the oceans for fish oil. I mean, it's just really quite amazing. And yet they still, you know, jobs. I guess it's jobs, huh? The aquaculture. So they have to push it. But you know, fish, heavy metals, high in heavy metals. How do you get your mercury? You know, from fish. Um, the pollution, the pathogens at the fish farms, really quite amazing. Heavy metals, uh, high in cholesterol, high in fat, um, not healthy. And fish have feelings too. You know, if you haven't noticed, look, they have eyes. They have eyes. They can see just like we do. But they can swim better than we can. So, you know, we're so superior, you know, but fish swim better than you do. Um, and they wouldn't deplete the oceans. Nope. So celebrate fishermen at the 2017 Climate March in Washington D.C. I think I had. How am I doing this show today? I am doing it by. I guess I'll just see what tabs I have open, and that'll be the show. Whatever tabs I still have left open. What's this one here? Oh, I'm doing the paperwork for Radio Bobby, for our online music station, our 24/7 online music station, coming soon. Um, and I do think that it's a form of vegan activism. It's either, as I said, a form of vegan activism, or you know, going to be one of the best music radio stations, just a form of love for music. But of course, there will be no commercials for fish tacos, or any fish or meat or dairy or eggs or honey or feather, leather, wool, silk, fur. So we're putting together what I believe you will find to be an amazing music radio station. And you'll never have to hear a commercial for McDevils or Murder King or Wendy's or Kills Jr. or Jack the Ripper in the Box, or, you know, all of those up Chuck E. Cheese. None of that stuff. So it's going to be a music radio station for vegans and people who are not vegan yet. Just, you know, everybody's welcome. Just the music lover is welcome. And then that music lover will hear about animal issues, vegan issues, health, environment. Uh, you know, that'll be the composition of our news and features. And I do believe you will find this to be the music experience of a lifetime. I just posted about this. We're trying to raise money. This is going to be a monthly cost. We're going to have to pay music publishing fees, like ASCAP, BMI, Sound Exchange. On a monthly basis, we have to pay music publishing fees to be legal to play music online, and that compensates the artists. So we're not just taking their work and, you know, using it without they're getting compensated for it. But that is a monthly expense, and we're asking that you support Go Vegan Radio right now. That you support, you know, what the world needs now is love, sweet love, and a great new positive music radio station with just all kinds of great music. I mean, it'll be a radio station like you've never heard. I mean, that's Radio Bobby, coming soon. Please support us. And how did I get to talking about this? Because that's one of the tabs that's open on my computer now on the laptop. I'm finishing off doing the paperwork, and I have to um, do the contracts for the music publishing fees. So we'll do that. Now, I go on to the Sierra Club website. We looked at 350.org, celebrating long bus trips and long boat rides, actually. So the more you have to travel to the climate march, the better to 350.org, which is opposed to the use of fossil fuels. And what's the deal? Like we keep saying with oil, like leave it in the ground, right? So that's Oil, you know, leave it in the ground. How about fish? Leave them in the water. Yeah, fish, leave them in the oceans. Fish, leave them in the rivers and in the lakes. Leave them alone. Look at how destructive we are to this planet. You know, I mean, depleting these beautiful creatures. You know, like they have a right to the planet too. They go along, you know, they're swimming along, minding their own business, and then suddenly they're all, you know, together. You know, like you know, in this huge net, or you know, it's like you going to Whole Foods or something, you know, and you go, oh look, a beautiful organic apple, and you take a bite of the apple, and there's a hook in it, and it grabs you by the mouth and you know drags you through the streets and into the ocean. You know, fishing, what a sport, huh? Nothing but trickery. It's like trick. Here, fish. We're gonna trick you, okay? We're gonna trick you. Look, this is a sport. We're gonna sit here. We're gonna sit here in our pickup truck and set up the fishing rod, and we're gonna trick you. What a great sport. What a great food. Okay. What a great species we are, aren't we? So we go to the Sierra Club website. Again, one of the top environmental groups. Climate March coming up. Um, and again, all it seems to care about, that you go right to the Sierra Club website and it says, okay, so it says, it has a pop-up. It has a pop-up ad. It's fight back against Trump. We stand together. Donate now. You got that? So that's first thing you see at the Sierra Club website. Of course, Donald Trump has brought us to the tipping point of you know where you know we're on the verge of environmental collapse. Of course, it's Donald Trump's fault. So so that's their you know main point right there. Fight back against Trump. We stand together. Donate now. Oh, by the way, I also wanted to get in on the action, seeing how prosperous the Democrat National Committee became by, you know, it's we're not Trump, send money. We're not Trump, send money. And here you see it works in the environmental movement too. The Sierra Club, fight back against Trump. We stand together. Donate now. So, hey, I need donations too. I have to support Radio Bobby. I have to support the show. You know, there are events that we produce. We owe money. You know, we're like, so Donald Trump is president. That means please donate to Go Vegan Radio now. Okay? Donald Trump is president. You must donate to Go Vegan Radio now because of it. You can go to goveganradio.com and find the donate button. Remember, donate now. Donald Trump is president. Now, nothing on the Sierra Club page there to, let's see, no, I don't see anything about the #1 cause of climate change. No, nothing about that. Um, let's see. Oh, it looks like, oh, and you know what's so amazing too? It's like, fight back against Trump. Where were you the last 8 years or the last 16 years? But, you know, for Obama, why weren't we fighting back against Obama, who created a fracking infrastructure with Hillary Clinton? We're going to have to live with that for the next 40 years. That's what Obama and Hillary Clinton gave us. Hillary Clinton was the ambassador for fracking around the world. She visited 80 countries on behalf of oil companies. So we get upset that the ExxonMobil former CEO is Secretary of State. Well, you know, what's the difference in policy? Why, you know, okay, so we're going to sign petitions and we want to divest from ExxonMobil. That's not going to save us from climate change. Now, the top climate specialists tell us that the only solution is a population shift to vegan living. People who consume meat, dairy, fish, and eggs have to switch. They have to go vegan. 50 to 85% of them have to do it by 2020, or it'll be too late. So, so send a donation to the Sierra Club because Donald Trump is president, and we stand together. Why didn't we stand together against the pipelines that happened under Obama? 10 times the number of pipelines, than the XL. I mean, 10 times amount, length under Obama. Look at all the permits he gave for drilling in the Gulf Coast. And how about Jerry Brown is governor of California? So we stand together. Donate to Go Vegan Radio, or donate to the Sierra Club for that matter. Jerry Brown, an oil man. Under him, California is all fracked up. The Central Valley is collapsing on itself because of fracking in California under the Democrat administration of Governor Moonbeam. But we stand against Trump. So please donate. Okay, so there's a donate button at goveganradio.com. So animal agriculture is the #1 cause of climate change. So, okay. So yeah, Trump steaks. There you go, Trump steaks. Please donate to Go Vegan Radio because Trump steaks. Of course, if Hillary were elected, we'd be talking about Tyson chicken and Tyson quite a bit, which was the first source of her wealth. She and Bill in Arkansas allowed Tyson to poison the drinking water there with excrement, and then suddenly she benefits financially. So, oh yeah, she seems so sincere about the water in Flint, Michigan. What about the water in Arkansas? But okay, that's okay. When Democrats do war, it's a good war. When Democrats pollute and destroy the environment, it's good destruction. I mean, look at what happened. Everybody hating Trump, and he drops a big bomb, and suddenly, oh, all right, we now Brian Williams loves him. Brian Williams is just so excited. He looked at the pictures of the the images of the bombs dropping, and he called them beautiful pictures. That's what a sick society we are. Nourished by violence, we are what we eat. A beautiful picture is a bomb going off, people getting killed. So Trump was awful until he dropped some bombs. Now people are saying he looks presidential. He looks presidential. Well, something, environmental destruction is presidential also. And we got plenty of it from Obama, and we'll continue to get plenty of it from Trump. But Trump didn't bring us to where we are right now. Actually, your appetite for meat, dairy, fish, and eggs did. But you wouldn't know that from the top environmental groups who are staging a climate march and want you to donate to them because they're against climate change, even though they don't seem to know the #1 cause. Did you see the look on the face of the guy from the Sierra Club in Cowspiracy? It's like unbelievable. I guess if you're an addict, if you're addicted to meat, dairy, fish, and eggs, I mean, there's only so much that you're willing to sacrifice for the planet, right? So, I mean, yeah, complain about ExxonMobil and coal and pipelines, but what? Got to give up my meat? Now you're asking too much. Forget it. Climate change. Climate change is all right with me. And it seems to be okay with the Sierra Club because we just keep getting nonsense from the Sierra Club. So I went to its website. Nothing there about animal agriculture being the #1 cause. Nothing there about going vegan being the only solution. And we're told it's the only solution by the world's top climate specialists, Robert Goodland and Jeff Anhang, who have done the only peer-reviewed, accepted in the scientific community assessment of the impact of animal agriculture on climate. But I don't know. You won't hear that on fake news. Brian Williams, you won't hear. He's too busy. Look, beautiful pictures. The bombs are dropping. Okay, so here's the Sierra Club website. What do I see here? Promoting sustainable food. Oh, let's look at that. That might be, maybe there is something here. Did I miss something? So it says, okay, promoting sustainable food, food that's good for people and the planet. Okay, Sierra Club, what have you got to say here? Food is life. Food is happiness. Food is love. Our relationship with it is universal, primal, historic, rich in tradition and pride. Right now, most of us do not know where our food comes from. A greedy elite are industrializing, commodifying, and controlling every aspect of our food system, from genome to grocery store. They're growing our food on huge monoculture farms, spraying genetically modified crops with obscene amounts of chemicals, and feeding these crops to factory farmed animals. The result is a broken system. Soils drained of nutrients, poisoned waterways, and the destruction of a precious diversity of crop varieties that have enabled human societies to thrive from the mountains to the coast for millennia. So it says, at the other end of the food chain, urban consumers, especially the poor, have little choice but to buy prepackaged food uh, built devoid of nutrition. It says, feeding the world's growing population is no small challenge, but the false solutions pushed by big industrial farming corporations, GMOs, and toxic pesticides, to name a few, come at steep costs for the environment and human health. It says here on the Sierra Club page, did you know 6 big agriculture giants control nearly 70% of the world's seed market, much of which has been genetically modified so they can reap profits on every seed they sell? 4 global corporations control 75% of all global grain trade. The top 10 global food processing companies control 26% of global food markets. And the livestock sector accounts for, Sierra Club, caught you. The livestock sector accounts for 14% of greenhouse gas emissions worldwide, roughly equivalent to emissions from the transportation sector. So the Sierra Club is ignorant, irresponsible, anti-environment. If it's quoting a 14% figure, it really doesn't know. I don't know if any of the figures I just mentioned prior to that are true. Now that I see that it's using false figures here. All right, what else does it say on its page? These clowns at the Sierra Club. I mean, they're imposters, like donate. Hey, Trump is president, donate to the Sierra Club, and we won't. I think they're doing a hike on Earth Day. That's the big thing. All right, so it looks like a national hike on Earth Day. Yeah, the Sierra Club should take a hike. Yeah, take a hike, Sierra Club. It says fixing our food system. A growing food movement is starting to form around the world. More people are demanding to know where their food is coming from. Farmers and communities are reclaiming control over the seeds of life and the right to self-determination through the food they grow and eat. A number of far-sighted corporations are looking to meet the evolving demands of the consumers they serve with a food system that matches their growing shift in consciousness. It probably means, like HSUS, the Humane Society of the United States, is part of that same international livestock alliance that wants to meet the increased demand by 2050, 70% demand for livestock products. So HSUS is a member, and it can make consumers feel better. The HSUS will give its stamp of approval on animal welfare, so people will feel that, oh, okay, the animals are being treated well. It's like giving a 350.org seal of approval to fishermen. Oh, yeah, fishing, that's good for the environment. Good, yeah. So Anyway, here, what else does it say? It's against chemical fertilizers, GMO seeds. Um, it's a future in which people from all walks of so um, so there you have it. You have a whole page on promoting sustainable food from the Sierra Club, and not one mention that production of meat, dairy, fish, and eggs production. Whoops! Knock over the microphone, please. Okay, don't mind if I do. Yikes! All right, wires are tangled. Typical. Okay, Sudhanshu's law. My friend Sudhanshu, who says, really wires, any wires, wherever they are, if they're across the room from each other, they eventually will figure out a way to get tangled, and I'll figure out a way to knock over the microphone during the show. So the only sustainable food is basically is vegan. I mean, when you come right down to it, there's I mean, but we don't see that from the Sierra Club. So it's a betrayal of our trust. We would expect to be getting the proper information from places like 350.org, the Sierra Club, and Greenpeace. Greenpeace also, all it talks about there is renewable energy. That's, not a word about animal agriculture, because obviously all the people at Greenpeace are eating meat, dairy, fish, and eggs, and so they'll just point their fingers at coal, and they'll talk about renewable energy. I don't see anything mentioned by 350.org, the Sierra Club, or Greenpeace that a renewable energy infrastructure would take 20 years and $35 trillion. Where is that information here? It's like, this is like fake environmental news, I mean, it's like these groups are just, doing more to destroy the environment. And what good does it do to all come together and march and hold hands and sing songs and carry signs, waste the paper, waste the jet fuel, when we're not talking about the only solution, which is going vegan? But no, these groups, they just, oh, what happened? Ah, wait, oh, now my plug came out of the computer. Hang on. Now I lost my screen. Hang on. Let's see if it'll come back and I don't have to restart it, because I just wanted to, come on, hurry up. This is tangled on here to the wire from my beard trimmer. Come back, come back. No, come back, come back. You weren't off that long. Okay, all right. Looks like by the plug coming out of my computer, I'm gonna have to restart it. So maybe that would make it a good time for a break, probably. So, oh, I don't have the button to go to the music for a break, do I? I don't think I do. Well, let me hit this button here. What's the worst that can happen? I'm hitting this button. Does music come on? Maybe. Okay. Well, anyway, it's time for a break. I have to untangle my wires here and get the beard trimmer charger out of my. Okay, we'll continue. It's Go Vegan Radio with Bob Linden at GoVeganRadio.com. Apparently, this is the only real environmentalism. Sad to say it, but if you're going to get a solution to climate change, apparently you get it from Go Vegan Radio, this little 501c3 profit. Donate. You can find the donate button at GoVeganRadio.com. I see that Jacob has taken over my computer screen. So, so I don't use that button there. I have to hit this mic button up here, I think, today. We're experimenting. This is our second week doing YouTube live event. So I'm either, my mic is either off and you haven't been hearing a thing I'm saying for a while, or I'm going to turn it off now. Think I'm turning it off, and you can hear everything I say that I don't want you to hear. Okay, this is Go Vegan Radio with Bob Linden at goveganradio.com. On Facebook, Go Vegan Radio with Bob Linden. There are two Bob Linden pages there maxed out. Still join me and be my friend, although I think we are trying to put together a new Facebook group, a new Go Vegan Radio Facebook group. So that's happening. Radio Bobby is happening. Um, I posted something within the last day or so about putting Radio Bobby together, and I Googled myself to see if any of the old press is still out there about me. From my old radio days as program director, I came up with something from Jazzy 100, where I guess where was it? What was it? The mid '90s that I was in Washington D.C. as program director of Jazzy 100. That was written up in the Washington Post, and I have that article posted on Facebook and Twitter as part of our Radio Bobby spiel. We would like you to donate so that we can create our 24/7 online radio station, music radio station. Um, and we are looking for sponsors and advertisers, of course, vegan products only. And I think you're going to be quite amazed and happy with the music that you hear. And I appreciate the initial support for Radio Bobby from Vegetarian House, vegan restaurant in San Jose. Vegetarian House has been supportive of our weekly 2-hour radio show or talk show for years. Vegetarian House has been supportive, and we greatly appreciate that. The talk show will continue. Radio Bobby comes on. We're just adding that on as new vegan activism or new great music enjoyment and entertainment, whichever you prefer. And so this show, of course, will continue on a weekly basis. And again, thanks for support from Vegetarian House, vegan restaurant in San Jose, one of the best vegan restaurants in the world. It is iconic. It has an amazing menu. Look at that international cuisine. Check it out at vegetarianhouse.us. That's where you can see the menu. Vegetarian House at 520 East Santa Clara Street. Vegetarian House caters. So if you have an event coming up in the Bay Area, a business event, a social event, you're getting married, you want the other people attending to be happy, well, the ingredients are usually good food, good music, good talk. That'll do it, right? So, but any one of those goes sour, you don't want that happening. So, Vegetarian House just has a great reputation. It caters so many events in the Bay Area, and you will love it. Vegetarianhouse.us, closed on Tuesdays. And also, I would like to thank Eric Weissman of Evolution Dog and Cat Food, vegan dog and cat food. for supporting this program. Daisy happens to love evolution. She's sitting here right next to me. We're all tangled up in various wires here together. Um, so so for evolution, by the way, you get 25% off your first order of dry food. So the phone number to call to order at Evolution is 800-659-0104. 800-659-0104 to order Evolution dog and cat food. We have it around the house, and the cats seem to like it a lot too. I have a number of friends who, just you want everyone in the family to go vegan, the dogs, the cats, and with evolution, I mean, there are case histories of dogs living up to 21 plus years. Those are human years, right? So with evolution, documentation of dogs living up to 21 plus years, cats living 22 plus years on evolution dog and cat food. So 25% off first order of dry food if you're a new patron. 20% off the first Wednesday of every month on dry food and 10% on canned food. So if you order on the first Wednesday of the month, you get 20% off dry food or 10% off canned food. And then also Eric and Evolution, Eric Weissman offers special price breaks to people who are financially challenged. So you can call and talk about your situation and get a price break so that your members, your dogs and cats in the family, eat healthy, eat healthily. Um, so the number again is 800-659-0104, 800-659-0104. There are new flavors all the time in case you wind up wanting to share the food with the dogs and cats in your family. Now there's gourmet pasta. There's also gourmet fondue. And now also the grain-free, gluten-free, hypoallergenic. Uh, that's called Maximum Life. You can order Maximum Life from Evolution, grain free, gluten free, hypoallergenic, especially recommended for animals with urinary tract challenges. So, for improved urinary tract health, there is Maximum Life from Evolution. That phone number again, 800-659-0104. Tell them Bob Linden sent you. Um, let's see. So, well, I'm outraged, and you know, life in the 21st century, life in America. Are you normal if you're not outraged? Um, and I'm outraged. It's April, Earth Day, Climate March on the 29th in Washington, D.C., and cities all around the country and around the globe, in fact. And we can't get a word of truth from the climate industry, the climate charity industry. So just nothing about animal agriculture, nothing about going vegan. Bill McKibben of 350.org says, who are we to deprive third world countries of the pleasure of eating meat? So that's the attitude at 350.org regarding what is the only solution for climate change, a worldwide population shift to veganism. But we don't hear that from 350.org, right, Daisy? Not a word of truth. It's fake environmentalism from these environmental groups. So, what you should do, what I recommend is that you attend the climate march or climate march in your area, Earth Day events, and hand out the flyer that we produced. April is Go Vegan to Stop Climate Change Month. I posted it on Facebook. I posted it on Twitter. There's a PDF link, so you can print that and hand it to the fishermen as they get off as they get off the boat after they travel for 3 days to come out there and promote fishing as environmental activism. You can hand it to the people, you know, coming from the Midwest on the longest bus ride to the Climate March, which 350 celebrates, and then you get the Sierra Club, which in the past, I don't think I actually posted this response. I spoke about it. Should I get into this again? I don't know. It's April. It's Climate Month. Or well, it's actually it's Go Vegan to Stop Climate Change Month. Actually, that's what April is. Um, so what I wrote, what I guess I still intend to post this. I don't think I posted it. You know, I said I discussed the stupidest article I've ever read on my radio program recently, and then I have a link here, which if I ever post it, you'll see this and you'll see the link. And I really, from the Sierra Club, it's such an insult to intelligence. Um, so I think, yeah, instead of just commenting on that show, I have to provide a written response. I'll have to post it because, I mean, what it really comes down to, the Sierra Club is a fraud, really, in much the same way as the Humane Society of the United States is. I mean, when you have a climate march that celebrates fishermen, I mean, that's like having an animal rights conference featuring butchers, and oops, I forgot. The Humane Society of the United States and Mercy for Animals and the Humane League were at the Animal Rights Conference. So, what an upside down world in which we live, huh? Left is right, right is left, up is down. Butchers are animal activists, fishermen are environmentalists, and the Sierra Club is an environmental organization. How do you like that? 350.org is an environmental. Why? Why are they environmental organizations? Why? What qualifies Greenpeace to be an environmental organization? Isn't it pushing fur now? The acceptable Greenpeace fur? I don't know what. These are scams and shams, scams and shams. All right, so uh, let me see. So let me see if I could just get into a little bit about the Sierra Club article again. It's so annoying. Um, so it said, yeah, just as really, and you have the Humane Society of the United States, Mercy for Animals, the Humane League. They're all feeding us meat. You know they're all feeding us meat. Hard to believe, right? Humane meat, cage-free eggs, uh, sustainable what fish? I don't know. Anything caught by those fishermen who are coming to the climate march, who are riding their boat there for 3 days. Anything they catch is sustainable fish, right? Environmental fish. The fish that environmentalists eat. Yeah. So, and the Sierra Club also inexplicably feeds us meat, the production and consumption of which are humanity's most destructive environmental actions. There are no legitimate rationalizations for the production and consumption of meat, dairy, fish, eggs, and honey from either animal advocates or environmentalists. Animal agriculture has been revealed, as I said, to be the number one cause of climate change, responsible for at least 51% of human generated greenhouse gas emissions, as we are informed by Robert Goodland and Jeffrey Anhang of the World Bank in Livestock and Climate Change. And there's a link for that. Check it out, Google it, read it. How can the Sierra Club not know this? If the Sierra Club does, if the Sierra Club does know this, why is it hiding it? But it's not hiding. I mean, it apparently doesn't know it because now it's claiming figures of 14%. It's really ignorant, and there's something that seems almost criminal in environmental ignorance on the part of an environmental group. So anyway, Daisy, please relax. Bye bye. So if the Sierra Club does know this, why is it hiding it? If it doesn't know this, what kind of environmental group is it? In either case, I mean, the Sierra Club loses all credibility, as if it didn't look goofy enough in Cowspiracy. Now we have the writing of the editor of the official magazine. Um, and you know, you read the writing of the editor of the Sierra Club, and you think you're reading The Onion, basically. Oh, I should tell you that Professor Gary Francione won't be able to make it to this week's show. He has work. He's occupied at Rutgers University, so he'll be back with us next week. Okay, back to what I've intended to post and should post during April regarding the Sierra Club. Surely the Sierra Club is aware of the leading role of animal agriculture in deforestation, desertification, soil erosion, resource squandering, water shortage, pollution, habitat and ocean depletion, and GMOs. Or is it? I don't see any of this on its website. You know something? I didn't see anything about chemtrails, geoengineering in the sky. What about that? What about chemtrails and geoengineering? What about the aluminum and barium? You know that we're breathing. That um, you know. What about Monsanto coming out with seeds and plants that are tolerant of aluminum? Um, I don't see any of that on these environmental websites, if they are indeed environmental websites. Um, when we are told by the world's leading ecologists, Goodland and Anhang, that the only solution for climate change before it's too late is a massive population shift to vegan living, what do we get from the Sierra Club? It's more meat. Yes, the Sierra Club would like to save the planet by pointing fingers and blaming someone else, Trump, coal, coal plants yet to have been built, future pipelines. But again, asking me to give up my meat, that's asking too much, right? Let's face it. One simply cannot be a meat, dairy, fish, egg, and honey eating environmentalist unless, of course, one receives the blessing of a pseudo environmental organization to do so, much like HSUS gives the animal stamp of approval, the certified humane stamp of approval. So here from the Sierra Club. Some months back, the Sierra Club published one of its absurd pro-meat rationalizations, an actual shopping list of the eco-friendliest meats, as if there were any. And I have a link here that I will post when I post this. So what's next, Sierra Club? A list of the friendliest terrorist attacks, the happiest wars. You know, I can see it. Can't you just see a peace activist group saying, oh, the U.S. is only using depleted uranium in the Middle East. It's not really like nuclear bombs. So that's kind of okay, right? So so what about the sustainable meat? They don't even mention in an article on sustainable food. They don't even mention that what grows from the earth is what is most sustainable. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, grains, seeds, beans. That's what's sustainable. They don't even mention that on their page on sustainable food. They just say, "Oh, feeding GMOs to animals on factory farms." So I guess the Sierra Club would be happy if all the animals were freed from factory farms, which is not practical. There's not enough land to do that. And then those animals who are freed from the factory farms, when they're out there on pasture and they're being labeled grass fed or pasture raised, they're producing 400% more methane than their highly confined brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, cousins, nephews. Um, so I said in this article or post that I haven't posted yet, so I don't know what it is. It's just what is it? It's a draft in my laptop, basically. In a draft in my laptop, I guess you haven't been able to see this yet. The only one able to see this so far has been the CIA. So anyway, Over the years, as an animal advocate, I have observed the ongoing, ever growing corruption and compromise of the animal rights movement and the accompanying enabling propaganda, much of which reaching the heights of outright stupidity. Lately, though, it seems that almost everywhere I look, I am bombarded by stupidity, from social media to politicians to mainstream media. I am to the point of being jaded now, almost numb to whatever the next episode of stupidity may be. That is why I am so impressed by the recent article by Jason Mark, the meat eating editor of Sierra, the Sierra Club magazine. His article, Toward a Moral Case for Meat Eating. By consuming other animals, we can affirm our animal nature, drawing ourselves closer to the earth. What is this guy on? I don't want any of it, whatever it is. So it says, I mean, that's the title of it, basically. This article by the Sierra Club, Toward a Moral Case for Meat Eating. By consuming other animals, we can affirm our animal nature, drawing ourselves closer to the earth. We should actually be affirming our herbivore nature. We are not carnivores, but I guess this dude wants us to be confused, about our eating identification, right? Anyway, pretty much by the title and subtitle, one is forewarned that this may be the most warped writing ever, and the article does not disappoint. Mr. Mark begins, quote, I once experimented with vegetarianism. I once experimented with vegetarianism for a couple of years. When people asked my reason for foregoing meat, I told them that while I had no problem with killing animals, I didn't want to have to feed them. Um, well, Mr. Mark didn't want to feed animals, but somebody had to raise the cows whose milk he drank and the chickens whose eggs he ate as a so called vegetarian. And let us also note that the Sierra Club hires as the editor of its magazine someone who has no problem with killing animals. Huh? I mean, this is a reflection of the attitude of the environmental movement in general, and is one of the basic foundational flaws, dooming it to failure. I mean, what is the environment anyway? A bunch of rocks, a bunch of sticks. Where are the animals in the equation? I mean, this is their planet too. Where are our brothers and sisters of companion species traveling with us in time? Whose mother is also planet Earth, huh? How much better could the world be if the editor of the Sierra Club magazine actually did have a problem with killing animals? Instead, he is the one chosen to write about the morality of killing animals and eating their flesh. And in such writing, his mission is to create a new morality. In essence, an immoral morality, which kind of fits the times when you come right down to it, right? Mr. Mark actually does make some sense for a paragraph or two when soberly assessing some of the negative aspects of animal agriculture versus vegan eating, although he emphasizes that industrialized animal agriculture is more to blame, ignoring that grass-fed, pasture-raised animals can produce up to 400% more methane than those in confined imprisonment. But Mark does enumerate significant environmental destruction by animal agriculture, which should lead him to a vegan conclusion, shouldn't it? But instead, he embraces, reductionism, reducitarianism, reduction of consumption, citing counterproductive campaigns, meatless Mondays, reducitarian solution, vegan before six, that purport to do just that, but do not. They reduce nothing. I mean, seriously, look at Meatless Mondays, the egg industry, it's a bonanza for the egg and dairy industries, and the egg industry thanks Meatless Mondays for its highest egg sales in the last 30 years. That's Meatless Mondays for you. Let's see, reducitarian solution. What's that? Oh, I think I'll eat less meat, and you know, instead of 44 pounds of fish this year, I'll eat 43 and a half pounds of fish. Vegan before six. That nonsense from Mark Bittman, who says, be vegan before six, but as of dinner time, be as environmentally destructive, um, you know, immoral as you like, because after all, it's after six. And Bittman also says he wakes up in the morning and puts dairy in his coffee, so he cheats way before six. What's the point of that anyway? I don't think your heart, and the development of heart disease will say, oh, he was vegan before six, so let's not give the guy a heart attack, huh? Let's not give him cancer. Anyway, back to this Greenpeace thing. Mark says the meat reduction pledges seem to be saying all bad things in moderation, including moderation. Well, and he says, which has me wondering anew, can meat actually be a good thing? But isn't it amazing? He says the meat reduction pledges seem to be saying all bad things in moderation. So he admits that consuming meat is a bad thing. So why do a bad thing at all? Why do a bad thing in moderation? Why do a bad thing at all if it's bad? But anyway, he considers all bad things in moderation, including moderation. And he says, which has me wondering anew, can meat actually be a good thing? Is there any way to make a moral case for eating animals? Well, of course not. The answer, Mr. Mark, is simply no. No. Huh? Didn't you just call it a bad thing? Huh? Shouldn't you be wondering about something more productive, I mean, read your own article, Mr. Mark. Do you see where you write, quote, if we acknowledge that eating animals will cause them some measure of pain, then it's impossible to defend on a strictly ethical basis. Think of Kant's categorical imperative, which says, act only according to that maxim, whereby you can, at the same time, will that it should become a universal law. No, I don't understand the thing I just said either in quoting him, but kind of typical for this article here. He says, unless you're willing to be kept, bred, and eventually slaughtered by a species of superior strength and or intelligence, you can't justify doing so to other species. Okay. So did you not convince yourself there, Mr. Mark? So he says, if you spent any amount of time thinking about the morality of meat eating, you might have already come to this conclusion. And if you're like 97% of Americans, you still eat meat. Isn't this blatant hypocrisy? Not necessarily, Mr. Mark says. Well, actually, it is blatant hypocrisy, isn't it? But Mr. Mark wants to argue with himself irrationally, so let's have him have a go at it here. He says, not necessarily. According to ethicist Paul Thompson, the author of From Field to Fork, whoops, glad I said that right, From Field to Fork, Farm Ethics for Everyone, moral ideas are exactly that, or moral ideals are exactly that. Ideals, something we strive for. A Christian, for example, isn't necessarily a bad Christian just because she doesn't give away all of her worldly possessions to the poor. Charity doesn't require asceticism, end quote. Is this ridiculous, huh? What? Moral ideals are exactly that, just ideals, something we strive for? Really, Mr. Mark? I mean, do we merely strive not to kill, strive not to rape, strive not to steal, strive not to abuse children? I mean, how hard should we strive, huh? I mean, I don't know. It seems like quite a mindless analogy. What? Because we don't expect a Christian woman to rid herself of worldly possessions. It's okay to slit someone's throat. It's, I mean, this This is pretty stupid right here, I'd say. Pretty stupid all over this article. I may have to heckle Mr. Mark in caps in parentheses, as Mr. Mark writes. You'll hear my heckling in caps here. Okay, so he writes, the question becomes, might the suffering that animals experience in the course of being, uh, wait a second, try that again. The question becomes, might the suffering that animals experience in the course of being sacrificed for human food contribute to some other social good? I think the answer is a conditional yes, Mr. Mark says. And again, how stupid, huh? I mean, intentional suffering as a social good. This guy is addicted to his. This guy doesn't want to give up his meat. That's it. Can't give up my meat for the environment. So, we'll make a social good out of suffering. He says, by eating animals, we can remind ourselves of our animal natures. Well, if you need a reminder, huh? Why don't you write yourself a post-it note? And again, I don't know. Our animal nature is herbivorous, not carnivorous or omnivorous. But we need to remind ourselves. So get yourself a recycled paper post-it note, Mr. Mark of the Sierra Club. He says that recognition of our corporeal reality, the fact that we are flesh and blood and bones and skin, each of us ever on the way to very likely an unpleasant end, can, like few other things, keep us connected to the living earth. Surely such a connection is vital in an age of increasing disassociation between human civilization and non-human nature. Of course, Mr. Mark could take a walk, right? Couldn't you take a walk in the park, huh? Or grow a garden, Mr. Mark? How about that? That might get you in touch with nature, huh? So I don't know. He says, when we kill other animals for our sustenance, as long as we do so with careful moral consideration, and to kill with careful moral consideration, I would have to say, is total delusion. Huh? How can that be? Well, the guy wants to eat a steak, so we put up with him. He says, so as long as we do so, as long as we kill other animals for our sustenance, as long as we do so with careful moral consideration, um, it can reinforce our interdependence with other species, linking humans to the rest of nature. Whew. This is the strangest. I mean, really, this is. I've never. I don't know. Have you ever heard? I mean, this is such gibberish. I'm speechless. I'm speechless because I've just spoken the gibberish of the king of gibberosity here. I mean, if I were on the Sierra Club staff, I mean, I'd really be a bit nervous being in the same building as this guy. I mean, killing with careful moral consideration. I think Jeffrey Dahmer did that, didn't he? He tried that. I'm sure. I'm sure he tried. I'm sure he tried his darndest, Jeffrey Dahmer, to kill with careful moral consideration. Um, and that linkage is a social, and I'm talking Mr. Mark here, Sierra Club magazine editor. He says, and that linkage is a social as well as a trans species good. That killing of animals is a social as well as a trans species good. To which I respond, HUH question mark, DUH question mark, huh? Duh. He continues. How did this guy? How is he the editor of the Sierra Club magazine? He says, by taking another animal's life, we can attune ourselves to the laws of ecology and the laws of the animal world of which we, as animals, are a part. But again, we are herbivores, Mr. Mark. He says, those laws state that everything is connected and that there can be a harmonious balance in a natural food chain. Mindful meat eating, mind another delusional concept that we're making up here, um, as an excuse, a rationalization to continue eating what we see is immoral here. So he says mindful meat eating. I mean, that's a total impossibility, right? Mindful meat eating. Anyway, he says mindful meat eating plugs us into that chain and connects us to the fates of other living beings. I'm sorry, this is the most gibberish I've ever read, ever, ever, ever in my life. And he says, paradoxical as it might sound, I think it sounds a little more psychopathic than paradoxical, to tell you the truth. Uh, he says, the conscious carnivore, more fiction, the conscious carnivore. Um, that's a fictional character. Again, the Sierra Club. I guess it's fake environmental news, so it's a fictional magazine now. He says the conscious carnivore can reestablish our moral obligations to the other species with whom we share this planet. Meat eating can be an ecological good insofar as the act reaffirms an environmental ethics that places other species' interests alongside human species. End quote. Sorry, but the utter stupidity of this article is it's actually beyond words now. I mean, I'm speechless. How did Mr. Mark get hired by the Sierra Club or anybody? How would anybody hire him? Okay, that's it. I can't take any more of that article. I actually can't take any more of the Sierra Club with its compromised environmentalism and immoral morality. That's what the Sierra Club is selling us: immoral morality, environmentalism, attempting to justify the unjustifiable with this kind of trash talk. Really, it's a new low in pollution, I think, or at least polluted thinking. Although it is a new high in I don't know, stupidity. New high in stupidity from the Sierra Club magazine. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I mean, after seeing this article, I would be embarrassed to be a member of the Sierra Club. It's like, hey, join the Sierra Club. Check it out. Here, have a copy of our magazine. Read this, huh? Pretty amazing. Okay, I think I've had enough. I think I've had enough of the Sierra Club. I think I might. I think I might want to take a break now. I think Daisy's telling me a little tummy rub for a minute or two, and then we'll continue. And again, our program is listener supported. This weekly program, our talk show, Radio Bobby, which is coming very soon. Our 24/7 online music station coming soon. A project of Go Vegan Radio. Um, we need your support for that. We'll have to pay music publishing fees every month, so we will really need your help. Um, I don't know. It's kind of strange that so many people make donations to the Sierra Club and 350.org and Greenpeace and the Humane Society of the United States and Mercy for Animals and the Humane League, all of whom promote meat. So this is vegan activism. If you would actually like to support vegan activism, we would greatly appreciate it. This program is listener supported. Radio Bobby will be listener supported. And, we have a lot to do to create a vegan world together. And it is the imperative. It is the only solution for climate change, although you wouldn't know it from the environmental groups. That's why Go Vegan Radio with Bob Linden, Go Vegan Radio, the 501c3 nonprofit, is critically important. Apparently, if you look at the fake news, fake environmentalism, I think that makes this program one of the most important shows in the history of the universe. And you haven't made a donation yet? No guilt, no guilt. There's time. Nothing like the present. We're in the present. Present moment is now, and you can go to the website and find the donate button at goveganradio.com. Again, that's goveganradio.com, and we will continue on Go Vegan Radio with Bob. We continue on Go Vegan Radio with Bob Linden at goveganradio.com. On Facebook, Go Vegan Radio with Bob Linden. Yeah, there are those two Bob Linden pages, and we're starting a new Facebook group for Go Vegan Radio. So we hope you'll join us there. Remember, we are listener supported, so we would greatly appreciate your tax deductible donation at goveganradio.com. Click the donate button. What did we started a Patreon? You know, there's just so much to do. Who can even keep up with it? You know, we're on Stitcher. Wasn't I supposed to get some money from Stitcher? You know, people listen to us on Stitcher, and there was supposed to be some payment plan. I don't think I ever checked on that. Maybe there's a fortune in the bank. Maybe that'll help us finance Radio Bobby, the music station that's coming from Go Vegan Radio very soon. And There'll just be so much music on there, including we'll be playing music from Maccabee, who's a reggae artist, and he's vegan, and he says it loud. He's vegan and he's proud. The message comes through in his music. There's a great song that he has called "Wa Me Eat," and there's also a song "Too Much Chicken," and those songs will be played on Radio Bobby. And Maccabee also has come out now lately with what he calls Medical Mondays, which of course would be far superior to Meatless Mondays, because the world has interpreted Meatless Mondays to mean, oh, you mean dairy and egg Mondays? No, we didn't get the message across that it should be vegan Mondays. So, um, as I said, the egg industry celebrates Meatless Mondays, saying it's a bonanza. It's helped the egg industry achieve its highest sales in 30 years. That's Meatless Mondays because they are not vegan Mondays. And what's the point of Meatless Mondays or vegan Mondays if they aren't vegan Tuesdays through Saturdays also? Isn't that the same as that corrupted morality as reflected in the article by Mr. Mark in the Sierra Club? So anyway, so Maccabee actually, so he's doing Wami Eat Wednesdays and he's doing Medical Mondays, and he's featuring vegetables. I mean, what an honorable thing to do. I mean, we always give attention to the people, you know, with the loudest explosions, who make the loudest explosions, or bang bang, whatever. Um, and yet along comes a kind soul like Maccabee, and we've listened to some of his Medical Mondays. One was about the cucumber, right? The cucumber, and he has me going. I mean, he had me chop up a cucumber and leave it in a jar of water, which he called an energy drink with the electrolytes. And then he did a segment on watercress. And have I ever eaten watercress in my life? I don't even know, but I went out and I got some watercress and put it in the salad. I liked it. And it looks like Maccabee is interested now in the lime. So, what kind of rhyme will he make for the lime?
Greetings, welcome to Maccabees Medical Monday. Yeah, man, we know about lemon, but it's time to rhyme about lime. Lemon and lime sometimes are combined. Partners in not partners in crime. The juice and the peel and the zest and the rind, acidic outside, inside alkaline. It's a good way for some days to begin. A glass of warm water in the morning. Get half a lime and then squeeze it in. Expel the mucus and the toxin. Good for the liver, good for the skin, good for the kidney, the intestine, full of flavonoids, minerals, vitamin. That vitamin C is a serious thing. Even the skin they use for medicine, it's called modified citrospectin. They say that it helps your immune system when the bad cells come, exterminate him. Smell the lime. What an aroma. Just like that, your mouth starts to water. That's your digestive saliva waiting for the vegan arrival. Soluble fiber. You will find in a lime. Lime water is better than pop every time. Suffer from reflux, maybe take time, but most people will be fine. A Medical Monday. Yes, I am.
So that's Maccabee with his rhyme about lime. Maccabee is Macka, and then B. So, and we'll be featuring lots of music by Maccabee on Radio Bobby. All kinds of great music. All kinds of great music. You'll never know what's coming next. I mean, that's just the way it'll be. A lot of music that you know, a lot of music you don't know, vocals, instrumentals, just a lot of great music. All kinds of great music coming soon. I'd like it to be the first week of June that we get it together. As I said, right now I'm doing the paperwork so that we're legal, paying all the music royalty fees that we have to, ASCAP, BMI, Sound Exchange, CSAC. I'm told that it will cost a little more to be legal to be heard in Canada, but we have lots of friends in Canada, so we want to be heard in Canada too. So we'll have to pay those music licensing fees, and we have to pay the entire Sound Exchange for a year. We have to pay that up front. So Please donate. Please donate to Go Vegan Radio. There's a donate button at goveganradio.com. Well, I see here from the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, the headline is Doctors, Parents, Teachers Sue California Schools for Serving Students Carcinogenic Processed Meats. So, wow, that sounds like a scandal, doesn't it? Um, okay, we'll have a typical reaction from me here as I quote. It says, "School systems urged to replace processed meats with plant-based options." Ah, that term plant-based. That term plant-based. Ah, just it's like it's like fingernails on a blackboard. Are there still blackboards in schools? People still scratch them, and um, I don't know. Without the word vegan, it just I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know if anybody gets it. Does anybody get what plant based means? It's plant based. So again, you can have a cheeseburger, or put some chicken on a salad. This on greens. That's plant based, isn't it? The greens are a base. That's a plant based. I don't know what the expression means, but anyway, it says the Physicians Committee, a nonprofit of 12,000 doctors, filed a lawsuit on April 12th to stop schools in California's Los Angeles Unified School District and Poway United School District from serving students processed meats, including hot dogs, pepperoni, and luncheon meats, which are linked to colorectal cancer. So LA Unified School District and Poway, which is near San Diego. The lawsuit alleges that serving foods that have been linked to cancer in school lunches violates California's education code, which mandates that school lunches must be of the highest quality and greatest nutritional value possible. Processed meats are available daily on many California public school menus. Tracy Childs and Stephen Sarnoff, who have two children who were Poway Unified School District students, and Jennifer Mack, a Los Angeles Unified School District teacher, are also plaintiffs in the lawsuit against the California Department of Education, the Los Angeles Unified School District, and the Poway Unified School District. The World Health Organization recently released a report announcing that processed meats are a carcinogen, it says announcing that processed meats are carcinogenic to humans. So that's a flat out statement from the World Health Organization recently in a report saying that processed meats are carcinogenic to humans, end quote. And by the way, I mean, since they said that so emphatically, people jump on that. But the World Health Organization also said that other meat was probably carcinogenic. So do we take that risk and serve the children something probably carcinogenic, but take away what is just said, like as an imperative sentence? Am I remembering English? Anyway, so declaratory. And I wanted to be an English teacher instead of a radio disc jockey. So the World Health Organization calls processed meats carcinogenic to humans. I know I'm repeating it, but where else do you hear it? Like it has to sink in. As George W. Bush said, you got to keep repeating the propaganda, or here in our case, the proper Gandhi. Just like we have to keep repeating animal agriculture is the number one cause of climate change, because where else do you hear it, right? Says the authors highlighted a meta-analysis that found an 18% increased cancer risk per 50 grams of processed meat, the equivalent of one hot dog or two strips of bacon consumed daily. So, isn't this something that parents, if one wants to be a responsible parent, my mother didn't know better. I mean, she thought she was feeding me healthy food, meat, dairy, fish, eggs, cheese, all of that. She thought, okay, this is healthy. But had my mother seen a report from the World Health Organization that said found an 18% increased cancer risk per 50 grams of processed meat, the equivalent of one hot dog or two strips of bacon consumed daily, I think my mother would have, made some dietary changes. And, shouldn't we, as responsible parents, take note of this and make those changes? I mean, it's not like we don't see heart disease and cancer all around us. It's not a surprise, huh? When somebody in the family comes down with heart disease or cancer. Not a surprise. By the way, if you're listening to the show, when you're listening, please turn off your cell phone. Don't listen to the show with your cell phone on. It'll be a distraction, and then you won't realize that you can't feed processed meats to the kids. You can't really feed them any animal products and feel good about it. Meat, dairy, fish, eggs. Yeah, not healthy, carcinogenic. Um, so the quote here is, as parents, we want what's best for our kids. Providing healthy school meals is a no-brainer. Well, actually, don't we need it to be a brainer? Isn't it? Sometimes don't we need to actually use our brain and recognize something? Like, I think I think feeding the kids hot dogs is actually the no-brainer, isn't it? We need more brainers in the world where we actually use our brains if they're not brain dead from no blood flow, uh, which I think that's called a stroke, isn't it? Um, no blood flow to the brain. I'm not a doctor. I just quote their studies. Anyway, so as parents, we want what's best for our kids. Providing healthy school meals is a no-brainer. Not only do healthful foods help students learn and focus in the classroom today, but they can protect our children's future health. And considering the health care plans that we have in this country, I think it's about time that we gave vegan a chance, huh? How about that? Um, when you have T. Colin Campbell of the China study telling us that, and again, you think I would research this. I mean, it's my own radio show. He did say on this show that animal protein is responsible for at least 80% of fatal degenerative disease, and not much of it in terms of animal protein. He may have said 90%, but I keep saying 80% because I'm not sure if he said 90%. So I should check on that because 90% is a higher number and I should use that. But doesn't 80% sound really high? Doesn't at least 51% of all greenhouse gas emissions sound high? That's from animal agriculture. Um, but I digress. Do I digress or am I just constantly digressing? Okay. What does it say here? A recent study published by the National Cancer Institute found that young people today have double and quadruple the risks of colon and rectal cancers, respectively, compared to those born in the 1950s. Ah, like as I was, due to low fiber diets, high consumption of processed meats, and lack of physical activity. Colorectal cancer is now skyrocketing among young people, says Susan Levin, MSRD, Physicians Committee Director of Nutrition Education. California should ban processed meats now to take steps to bring down rates in Generation Z and beyond. California should ban, meat, dairy, fish, and eggs. Really, if we came down to that. But we do have the quote from the World Health Organization saying it. It's definitely a carcinogen, even though all the other stuff's a carcinogen too. says those who consume the most processed meat also have an increased risk of death from cardiovascular disease, America's leading cause of death, according to a 2009 National Institutes of Health study of more than 500,000 people. A recent JAMA study found that processed meat consumption was tied to 57,766 deaths from cardiometabolic diseases in 2012. The Physicians Committee sent both school districts a toolkit with information on removing processed meats from their menus, along with a booklet featuring affordable, student tested, plant based recipes. Darn, I wish they would have sent them vegan recipes, because the kids might think vegan food is appetizing, but eating a plant may not sound so appetizing. But I know people like to run away from the word vegan. Um, anyway, so whatever. I want to call PCRM and talk about this nomenclature, this plant based stuff. Because when I see a food label and I see certified, vegan certified, I trust it. I don't know how much I trust it in the UK, since some months back we had a discussion, and it seems like the Vegan Society in the UK was putting that on food labels, and on the same food label it said, it's like certified vegan may contain fish, or certified vegan may contain dairy. That's not really what I'm looking, to get out of my food label certifications. So I don't see anything that says certified plant based, and that really wouldn't mean anything, because those who are closest to what they call a plant based diet, and people at Forks Over Knives and others, uh, various chefs, have said that plant based diet does not necessarily mean eliminating animal products from the diet. I guess it would like to reduce them, reducitarianize them, minimize them. But so therefore, if a plant-based diet is not vegan and includes animal products, then when do we get to the point when we consider those animal products actually plant-based, like pasture-raised chicken, right? I mean, the chickens were raised; they were on the pasture. Of course, they were eating insects also, and poking around. But I don't know where we draw the line. Sure, it would be nice to see the word vegan. I'm so confused by what plant-based means. So anyway, there you have it. Um, Suing. I remember trying to get vegan foods into the LA Unified School District a while back. That was quite a challenge talking to them, especially because the so-called animal products, are so subsidized, so cheap. We're paying for them with our tax dollars, and then look at the state of healthcare, and everybody all concerned about Obamacare, single payer, all of that, all to address the symptoms of what Americans eat: meat, dairy, fish, and eggs. So there we solved our environmental problem. We solved climate change today by addressing the issue and saying go vegan. And now let's address the health crisis. You just saw some of the figures. I mean, you can Google it all day long and find studies that associate the consumption of animals, meat, dairy, fish, and eggs, animal products, with heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes, osteoporosis, and on it goes. And if we care about our children, we want to, you know, feed them healthy food. I mean, they're helpless. They're helpless. There they are, what, in elementary school. they're helpless, and we're shoving a carcinogen down their throats. Don't we have those warnings in California? Aren't there, on the, like when there are toxic substances in the building? Aren't they required to post something on the wall? I don't know that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an example, but electronic equipment, whatever. If there's some toxic something in the area, I think something has to be posted. And yet we shove a toxic substance, we shove a carcinogen down the kids' throats in the school lunch program, and they are totally innocent, and they can't refuse it. They don't know to refuse it. Where are we? Where's our thinking? It's a no-brainer. And again, I think we need to be done with the no-brainers and actually use our brain and use our heart, because the kids are not only eating something, they're eating someone. All of this unnecessary murder, all of this unnecessary, I mean, just for the pleasure of the taste of ketchup or mustard or mayonnaise. And actually, Vegenaise is so much better than mayonnaise because it's vegan. But all these animals sacrificed for nothing to give the kids heart disease and cancer and destroy the environment. So, all right. Hopefully, we'll start thinking sometime soon. I think. Do I want to do one more break, or do I just want to end the show and save this for? Let's see. It's coming up on 7 o'clock. Daisy looks like she wants to take a walk. I have, it's just more environmental news that I would like to cover. I'll do that next week. Professor Francione will be back with us next week. So one more reminder that April is Go Vegan to Stop Climate Change. And I know Jacob is showing me the video that I was going to run, another video, but I'm going to save that for next week. That's more environmental news related to James Hansen and again these false solutions for climate change. I don't really understand how people are promoting a carbon tax, or as Bernie likes to promote, a carbon tax. A carbon tax. I mean, another no-brainer where we should be using our brains. Do we, I mean, what a scam that'll be, right? A carbon tax? Really? That's going to cut down on carbon emissions? Really? Or is it just going to be another hedge fund scam that enriches Wall Street? And watch, you'll see. The only ones paying for that will be, school children who use carbon paper. Yeah, make them pay. They're the ones to blame. Yeah, they're the welfare mothers. Yeah, they're the ones to blame. That's whom we blame in our military welfare state. Okay, so did I mention that you can support our program with a tax-deductible donation? Well, you can, and we'll just keep coming on every week talking about what nobody else seems to want to discuss, the environmental groups, the animal rights groups. We're here. We're here for you. We're here for the animals, and we hope that if you're not vegan yet, now's the time, for whatever reason, for the animals, for your health, and for the environment. It is the only way to stop climate change. Again, support our program with a tax-deductible donation. Click donate at goveganradio.com. Thank you for listening.